This year when I went to Anthrocon, I had an agenda. You see, I make these little, I guess you would call them business cards that have my contact information on them because I routinely run into people that want my info, and rather than sit there and wait for them to get their phone out and remember how to add someone on Snapchat, I just give them a card and then I can get on with my life. And I make these on my laser printer. I buy these Avery business cards, and they're very easy, and I don't put any money into this. There are some people that put a lot of time and effort and money into having these cards, and I don't know. No. But what happened was I ordered too many of these blank business cards, and I wanted to come up with something fun to do with them. So I thought, well, what is something that we could do with business cards at a major convention that is harmless and interesting and intriguing and fun? One thing that I had always wanted to do was I was always a big fan of Vice City and the mini game where you collect hidden packages. There's 100 artifacts around the game and just hidden places that no one would ever go to unless they were bored and had, literally no time. And you'd get rewarded for collecting all of them. And I'd always wanted to do this in real life, but I had always feared that people wouldn't understand what it was they were seeing and would think the worst and would think like it was some type of explosive or something ridiculous. But business cards are harmless, and they're all over the convention anyway, and people can easily pick them up and give them out. So I made 255 business cards. They are numbered 1 through 255, and each of them has a QR code, and it says nothing else. My initial idea was to just have like a website that tracked, where I left them so that people could, go online and log in the fact that they had found them, and that way, the game could be kept up to date, and we'd have the state of, the cards as they were found, and I guess I could put in, like the approximate location where I had hidden them, and as people found them. But I started worrying that people wouldn't actually take the time to put in their information, and even if they did find it and go to the website, they'd be like, oh, this is part of some stupid game, and we would never find out who they are. So what I did was I made a Telegram bot, and the QR code on every card is a unique URL that if you have Telegram installed, which every furry has Telegram installed, it will go right to Telegram, go right to the bot, and it will message it with a message that uniquely tells the bot that you found this card, and the bot says, oh, this username, this Telegram user is who found this. And if you choose to continue putting information in, you can put a location and a picture of where you found the card. And once you do that, the card goes into your inventory, and you now have options with the bot, so you can now hide the card and others can find it. And when you drop the card, you specify, you take a picture of where you dropped it and a brief description, and you send the location, and it goes to a database. And anyone that's playing in the game, in other words, everyone that's found a card, they can choose, there's a menu command that shows them all of the cards that are within a 10-mile radius, sorted by distance, because when you drop the card, you send your location. Telegram has this thing where it asks you to send a location. Like, the bot comes up with a prompt and it says, send location. You press the button, and we get the GPS coordinates. And because of Pythagorean theorem and trigonometry, it's very simple, given 2 latitude and longitudes, to figure out the mileage between them. And because we're at a convention, we're not talking about, we don't need to talk about distance in terms of streets and actual over the earth. We can talk about non-Euclidean. I don't know what the fuck the right term is because I'm not a math major, but once you find a card, you get entered in this game, and you can then drop the card and you get points, and you can see all the cards that are in the game, and you can get hints and whatever. And so what happened was I racked my brain. I killed myself making this game. I got this idea 3 to 4 days before the convention, before I had to pack and shit. So I spent all that time writing the code, writing the bot, testing it, making the QR codes, making the cards, making the template, printing them out, dealing with, the printer. I ran into so many different problems that I thought this would be really easy. I figured, come on, I just got to print out like 200 or so business cards, and this bot doesn't really have to do much. It just has to do a couple things. It just has to keep the state of the card, mark when someone's found one, give them points, ask them if they want to drop it, ask them if they want to see other cards. But as it turns out, there's a lot more. I had to put in a way for people to contact me if the game was broken, and it was broken, so people did have to contact me. I had to put in a way for me to find out who's playing. There were printer issues because I wanted to print. On the back it says, "This card is unique. If you do not use it, please put it someplace interesting for the next person that finds it. Please do not throw me away." And I just figured, that would be enough to get people a little bit interested. It's written in some weird font. And the border has the "whoa." So, anyone that's familiar with furry fandom would easily realize that this is part of some fandom-esque thing, and it would intrigue them. It doesn't say anything else other than this. It doesn't even have the URL that it goes to. So when they put this in their phone, typically their barcode scanner will come up and will be like, "Oh, this goes to t.me/mysterious cards bot start equals," and then this code, and they're like, "What does this do?" And they go, and then they get entered in the game. And then there's a channel. So there's a Telegram channel. You know what that is? It's like a read-only chat where once you get in the game, once you find a card or you get entered in the game, then you get access to the channel where people, as the cards are found and as they're dropped, there's a real-time feed that goes on there. And then there's also a chat where I am, in case I have to do things, because there's parts where there were bugs in the game. My failure is that I assumed I would have time to hide all 255 cards, and it became evident after hiding 2 of them that I was not going to be hiding all 255 cards. After I found the first couple players, they were interested in hiding cards for me, so I wrote a function. I had to write a function to transfer the cards to them. Because if I had just allowed them to find them, like scan them in normally, they would gain points, and they wouldn't, the people that found them down the road would get less points. So I wrote a way to transfer, entire decks of cards to them, and I handed them, like maybe 40 or 50 cards, and they went and they hid them. And at its peak, there were probably about 10 or 15 people playing and hiding cards and looking for them. And the other thing is that the hint system that I built, it would give you the hint of the card that had the next closest location to you, but once you got a hint, you couldn't get a hint for another card until you found it, because I didn't want people just keep hitting the hint button while moving around to see what everything. But as it turns out, that's exactly what I wanted them to do, because otherwise one card that no one could find would hold a whole bunch of people up. So we changed that, so the hint would just give you the card, the hint of the card closest to you geographically, no matter what hints you had previously gotten. I bought a scanner that can scan QR codes, and it actually was an amazing scanner. It was like $12 on Amazon, and I connected it to a USB on-the-go adapter, and I connected it to my phone so that I could shoot QR codes into Telegram very quickly, and it allowed me to transfer people entire stacks of cards in like 3 seconds. It let me drop them off, very quickly. But even still, even with that, I only hid like maybe 10. There was one that I hid like off the side of off the edge of the dock. Like I taped it off the side. Like I made great strides to make sure that it did not go fucking down the drain. It went down into the drink. Trainer station. Where the fuck am I? All in all, we only hid probably about 50 cards, and there were a couple of them that were found a couple days after the con ended. One of the guys hid one at a rest stop on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. That's the last time I saw a status update. I would probably do this again. I would make a significant amount of changes. I would make it a little bit less mysterious. I think people would be intrigued if they understood the premise of the game up front without having to go through steps to discover it. People at a con aren't really, they're really busy, and if you just say there's a scavenger hunt, the people that are interested in that will immediately be interested in that. You don't have to disguise it as, anything else, because you'll have people that stumble across it by happenstance regardless of whether or not people know that there's a scavenger hunt thing going. Though I wouldn't really call it a scavenger hunt, because that's more of you're looking for generic specific things. It's more of an Easter egg hunt, because you're looking for unique items that we've placed. You could call it geocaching, but it's not geocaching, because geocaching's for losers. And I mean that with all due respect to non-losers that geocache, but I think geocaching could be brought up to date into the modern technology. I think we can build devices that are not business cards, but like actual smart devices. Like, wouldn't that be great? Like, if you just had like this little sphere that just kept like some photographic memory of where it's been and some log of the people that have handled it, and everyone can record a little message into it, and it's just like this write-only capsule, and then at the very end it phones home and someone puts it in the mail and it goes back to the people that made it, and then they make a documentary about the experience of the sphere. Like, we could make like a couple dozen of them, and send them into the wild and see if we get them back. I think that would be a really fun project. Maybe someone should do a Kickstarter. I'm not going to, because Kickstarters are for douchebags.